I think we are ready now. Do I have a friend upstairs who can do lights? Oh. Thank you so much, kind sir. What is your name? Rick? Jordan. Why did I say Rick? Everyone give a hand for Jordan. All right, a couple quick things before we get rocking and rolling here today. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's like a sauna. Okay, make sure, real quickly, take your phones, make sure they are set to stun so that if your mother texts you, like mine did, she says, will tonight's concert be live streamed? Yes, mother, Jordan is on it. It will not ring during the middle of the show. By all means, if you are a parent, not a student, please feel free to take your phones out, take pictures, take videos, send it off to grandma. Just set it on airplane mode or turn the ringer off so that it won't go off in the middle of the show. We will get things started here with our national anthem played by Liz Doherty and Dan Contreras. If you all would please rise, remove your hats. All right, and then before we get our music underway, we have a very special guest here this evening. It's my pleasure at this point to introduce Mr. Ernie Kern from the Hermiston Elks Lodge.
How was everybody tonight? Another community gathering thanks to Hermiston School District music programs. And along those lines, the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, especially here in Hermiston, we support youth activities, veterans programs, and various community activities throughout the year. Some of our key, where most of our support goes is the Meadowood Speech and Autism Camp up near Tollgate. And then there's the Elks Children's Eye Clinic at the Casey Eye Institute at OHSU. There's also the Elks Hoop Shoot, which is coming right up, competition, and that's going to be held at Sandstone Middle School on December 1st. But we also like to support our schools when we get a chance. And The Elks like to recognize the importance of the arts in human development and education and in our community. It brings us together. Being the 150th anniversary of the Elks this year, certain grants were made available to the Hermiston Elks Lodge. And so our exalted ruler, Alan Humphrey, wrote a grant, and we were able to acquire that money. And we voted overwhelmingly to give that to the Hermiston School District Middle School music programs. So with that, it is my pleasure to present Mr. Allen with this check for $1,000 from the Hermiston Elks Lodge for the Sandstone Middle School Music.
And before he escapes, how about a hand for Mr. Kern and all that the Hermiston Elks Lodge do for our community, and especially the young people in this town. And with that, we're ready to bring out our concert choir. For those of you who are old-timers at these events, we have a friend who's no longer with us. If you haven't heard, Dean Mason, who was our collaborative pianist for years and years and years, even before I got here, lost his fight with cancer last April. Last spring, as Dean's health was beginning to decline, we leaned on Margaret Wetterling, who is a fabulous piano player. She helps out with the high school, and it looks like she is back from her 34 state tour of the U.S., but she just got back this week, so I didn't feel like springing a concert on her as a welcome home present. So we'll have a new face up here tonight. He's been fabulous to work with. He's a teacher of music at the Hermiston Christian School. Please give a warm welcome to our collaborative pianist for this evening, Mr. Jacob Looper. It wouldn't be a proper first concert of the year if it wasn't something. Here's something that's on.
I used to complain a lot. Well, I still do, but for different reasons. But I used to complain a lot about this first concert of the year is just so close to the start of the school year, especially how many of you are in choir for the first time ever, at least middle school-wise? So especially for these kids that come in green on day one, there's just, I get into mojo in September and we get rocking and rolling and we're working on all these great things, and then October hits and it's like, oh man, concert. And so all we do is terrible teaching because we just need to get the concert ready, and so everything's taught by rote and the kids don't learn much, if anything. And then I realized I am in charge. And as a wise man, namely myself, it's not really wise advice, but I do heed it often. If you can't play by the rules, change the rules. So, as of last year, a couple of years ago, we work on those fundamentals and we actually perform them as part of the concert. So that way we're still working towards our performance, but I don't have to, cheap shot the kids any with their musical progress. So, every group that you see tonight is going to sight read on stage. They are so excited. This is their favorite thing ever. But here's the thing, and here's why this is super important to me. Because this setup is great and fabulous in the 6th and 7th grade, but totally impractical in real life. There is no situation since I've been out of school where they say, okay, we're going to rehearse for an hour every single day for months for a 10-minute gig. It's exactly the opposite. There's like one rehearsal and it's a 3-hour gig. So if you can't sight read, you're hosed after school. So they're going to learn how to sight read. They already have. Hopefully it goes well for us. Wish us luck. I'll buy them a minute to get these passed out and take a peek and make sure they can wrap their heads around what we're doing, where we're going. Another reason to explain myself to you, when these kids hit high school and they go off to festivals where they're actually in competition with other schools, one of the skills that they get judged on is their ability to sight read. And so, to me, it seems silly that, and there's all kinds of middle schools out there with the trophy cases overflowing, and the kids learn nothing, because it's all done by rote, or they do the same tunes every single year. So, to me, it's not fair to the kids. So, and it's not fair to them to send them to Mr. McClanahan, where he takes them to a festival where they have to sight read, if they haven't done it before. So, be patient with us. We're going to have, every group has something they're going to sight read. Have we got them all out? Where did they end up? Okay, almost. Oh, we got time for some jokes. Okay, so, here's one for you. So a horse walks into a bar, and the bartender says, "Hey, why the long face?" There's another Kool-Aid establishment one that I think is pretty funny. This guy walks into a place with Kool-Aid, and the Kool-Aid tender gets him his bowl of peanuts, and goes off into the other room. So it's just this guy alone in the room, and all of a sudden he hears, "Man, that's a really nice suit." Looks around, there's nobody here. And then I don't know, must be. And then he hears it again. "Oh man, those shoes, so great." And he's looking around. He thinks, okay, he must be hearing voices. The Kool-Aid tender comes back into the room, and he says, "Hey, I keep hearing these voices. What is that?" And he goes, "Oh, that's the peanuts. They're complimentary." So we'll be signing autographs after the show, if you're interested. forgot to mention, but for those of you that are musically literate and would like to play along at home, I copied and pasted these into your program. So if you want to check out what they see now, it's page 4 or 5, I think, in your program. All right, great. This is our chamber choir. This is our advanced auditions choir. They've got 3 tunes prepared for you, plus their own sight reading. It's just like before, but now in 2 parts. And we decided to mix it up. When I started teaching at Sandstone, there were 2 bands, 1 choir. We came here, our concerts were a cozy half hour, and we just zipped right out of here, and life was great. We're not that size anymore, so we're gonna try, we've unloaded the jazz band from the end. That'll save us a set change, it'll save us a whole nother set. And Mr. McClanahan and I are gonna combine forces, same bat time, same bat channel. Next Thursday, it's gonna be our jazz band, the Sandstone Jazz Band, and the Hermiston High School Jazz Band as well. So while I'm thinking about it, come back next Thursday and support the jazz band. And enjoy going home a little earlier. There'll be extras on the end. before we go into this next piece, there's a little bit of a backstory as to why I chose it and kind of what it means to me as well as to the kids behind me. This summer I had the opportunity, I was invited to play in a band directed by Frank Kelly, who's a famous conductor of wind band music, in a memorial tribute to the victims of the Parkland high school shooting in Miami, Florida. And before we played the actual piece, he had us all stand up and we sang the alma mater of Columbine High School. And there's a line in the Columbine High School that was why we did it at this other event. It's right at the apex of the tune. There's a part that states, "We are Columbine, we all are Columbine." And it resonated through as it was about Parkland, but it still held true. And it got me to thinking back to Columbine. And I just remember when that happened, how much the earth just shook. And it was just, everyone knows exactly where they were. September 11th was the exact same way. You know where you were when you heard the news, and you have distinct memories, and we all cried watching the news. And now, I don't remember the last time I felt that way, whether it's the attacks internationally in London or in Paris or wherever, or like at Parkland High School. And so I was just thinking about these kids who were born 2004 to 2006? 4, 5, 6. They've never lived in a world that's so calm and peaceful that it can be rocked that hard by something like Columbine or like 9/11. And so these words just really spoke to me, first of all, because they're by a 7th grader. And secondly, because us as grown-ups, I think, have a lot to kind of learn from these guys who are just born in the trenches and coming on through. Here's the words for this song that I'm just going to let you tell them about it, but I want to read you the text first. This is by a 7th grader. I ask for one day where I don't have to hear about pain or life that's lost. I ask for one day where whispers of hope are alive inside my heart. Where there is freedom and justice and judgment is gone. I ask for one day where I don't have to hear about pain. I ask for one day in my life where there is sunshine through the shadows. Only one day in my life where the world is at peace as I sing. I ask for one day when I close my eyes and I see the hope in me. I ask for one day where war is a dream of the past, of long ago. Where there is freedom and justice and judgment is gone. I ask for one day where I don't have to hear about pain. One day for only beauty. One day when we can open our hearts. One day where hope is endless. One day to be free.
Don't have to hear about pain or love.
Time for Mr. Jacob Looper. And we're going to do a set change as quick as we can. We'll be back out with the bands in about 5 minutes. So if you need to go make a phone call, use the bathroom. We'll see you back here in 5. Lori, pick a number. Great, pick a higher number. Or just pick another number. 22. For our side reading, we will be playing excerpts from Standard of Excellence, the Red Book by Bruce Pearson. 22 is up first. I lied. Let's do... Sure, 21. You picked wrong, Lori. We can't do 22. We'll do 21, though. Great pick. You're better than Lori. while the wind ensemble gets lined up here, go ahead and turn in your programs. There's a list in there of all of our known performance dates so far this year. It's very funny. We have in our bylaws for the secondary music teachers, there is a requirement that says all schools will have at least 4 concerts every year. Which is, I think, if you look on that list, I think we're at 4 by like next Tuesday. So, just when you remember, the expectation is 4. We go above and beyond. But you can punch those into your phone, make sure you've got them all set so you know not to double book yourself. Not all of them are every band or every choir, but it says underneath there which groups perform when. So take a look, add those into your phone while we're waiting on the next group. We are going to attempt something now never before seen or done at a Sandstone Middle School concert. These guys are just going to sight read a full piece right in front of you. So, wish us luck. Okay, a couple more tunes for you. Our next one is going to be a Sailor's Odyssey, which is a bunch of theme and variations on what can we do with the drunken sailor. And then we're going to play the Scottish tune, Ye Banks and Braes, O Bonny Dew. Our last tune that we're going to do this evening is a tune called Dark Ride, and this was a last-minute addition to our set list because we thought it sounded very spooky and Halloweeny. So I hope this gets you in the Halloween spirit. When we are done, those of you that are not on the stage right now, let's have concert choir, which includes intro to choir. Check in with Mr. Scheibner afterwards. Mr. Scheibner, come up here, I'll find you a list. Mrs. Mills, if you'll check out the chamber choir. And if we have, do we have another volunteer? Mr. Mata will check out the concert band. So Mr. Mata, stand up so they know what they look like. This is Christian Mata, by the way. He's my new colleague across town at Armin Larvey. He has a concert next Thursday. You'll get to see him in action. He and I were undergrads together, so it'll probably be more of the same ridiculousness and outlandish antics. Lots of fun. Okay, so concert band, check out with Mr. Mata, chamber choir, Mrs. Mills, and Mr. Scheibner if you are in concert choir. Here's our last tune. This is Dark Ride. Please drive home safely.